Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Fluent Journey, the podcast where we help you improve your English step by step. My name is Jasmine, and I'm so happy to have you here today. If you're new to the podcast, welcome. And if you've been listening for a while, thank you for being part of this journey with me. Today, we have an exciting and very important topic to talk about: how to improve your English speaking skills. I know that for many of you, speaking English fluently and confidently is one of the biggest goals. Maybe you've been studying English for a long time, but when it's time to speak, you feel nervous. Maybe you understand English well when reading or listening, but when you try to speak, the words don't come out easily. Does this sound familiar? Don't worry, you are not alone. Many English learners face these challenges, and in today's episode, we're going to talk about how you can overcome them. So, why is improving your English speaking skills so important? Well, English is the global language of communication. Whether you need it for travel, work, studies, or even making new friends from different countries, speaking English confidently can open so many doors for you. Imagine going to a foreign country and being able to talk to people without fear. Imagine giving a presentation in English and feeling proud of your skills. Imagine having conversations with native speakers without worrying about making mistakes. That is what we want to achieve. Now, I know that many of you might be thinking, but Jasmine, speaking English is so difficult. I don't have anyone to practice with, or I'm too shy to speak in front of others. Well, I have some good news for you. Speaking English is a skill, and just like any other skill, it can be improved with the right methods and consistent practice. You don't need to be perfect, and you don't need to wait until you feel ready. You just need to start. In today's episode, I'm going to guide you through practical and effective ways to improve your English speaking skills. We will talk about the most common challenges learners face when speaking English, how to develop the right mindset for speaking confidently, daily techniques you can use to practice speaking, even if you don't have a partner, how to expand your speaking practice with real-life activities, tips to improve your vocabulary, pronunciation and fluency, and finally, how to set realistic goals and stay consistent in your learning journey. So, get comfortable, grab a notebook if you want to take notes, and let's dive into today's episode. By the end of this podcast, you'll have a clear plan on how to improve your English speaking skills and feel more confident every time you speak. Are you ready? Let's begin. Now that we've talked about the importance of improving your English speaking skills, let's take a moment to understand the challenges many learners face when they try to speak English. If you've ever struggled with speaking, I want you to know that you are not alone. Almost every English learner experiences difficulties at some point, but here's the good news. Once we understand these challenges, we can find the right solutions to overcome them. So, let's break it down. What are the most common difficulties English learners face when speaking? 1. The fear of making mistakes and lack of confidence. One of the biggest reasons learners struggle with speaking English is the fear of making mistakes. Have you ever been in a situation where you wanted to say something in English but you hesitated? Maybe you were afraid that your grammar wasn't perfect. Maybe you thought, what if people laugh at me? Or, what if I sound stupid? This fear stops many learners from speaking at all. But let me tell you something important. Mistakes are a natural part of learning. Think about how babies learn to speak their first language. Do they speak perfectly from the beginning? No. They make mistakes all the time, but they keep trying. And over time, they improve. The same thing happens when learning English. You can't wait until you are perfect before you start speaking. In fact, the only way to get better at speaking is to speak, even if you make mistakes. So, what's the solution? Change your mindset about mistakes. Instead of feeling embarrassed, see mistakes as learning opportunities. Every mistake you make helps you improve. And trust me, most people don't care if you make small errors. They are just happy that you are trying to speak in their language. Lack of confidence is another big challenge. Many learners say, "I understand English, but I can't speak it." This is because they haven't trained themselves to think in English and respond quickly. Confidence doesn't come automatically. It comes from practicing every day and believing in yourself. The more you practice, the more comfortable and confident you will become. 2. Lack of an English-speaking environment. Another common challenge is not having an English-speaking environment. If you live in a country where English is not the main language, it can feel impossible to practice speaking. Maybe your family, friends, and classmates all speak your native language. Maybe you don't have native English speakers around you. If that's your situation, you might think, how can I improve my speaking when I have no one to talk to? This is a very real challenge, but the good news is that in today's world, you don't need to live in an English-speaking country to create an English-speaking environment. Here's how. Talk to yourself in English. Yes, it might sound strange, but it works. Describe what you're doing, talk about your day, or even have imaginary conversations in English. This helps you get comfortable forming sentences without pressure. Use English learning apps and AI chatbots. There are many apps where you can practice speaking with AI chatbots that simulate real conversations. Apps like ChatGPT, Elsa Speak, and Speechling can help you practice pronunciation and fluency. Join online communities. There are thousands of learners like you who want to practice English. Join English-speaking groups on Facebook, Reddit, or Discord. Participate in voice chats and practice speaking with others. Find a language exchange partner. Websites like Tandem and HelloTalk allow you to connect with native English speakers who want to learn your language. You can help them with your language, and they can help you with English. Use English in your daily life. Change the language on your phone to English, listen to English podcasts, watch English movies, and try to think in English throughout the day. The more you surround yourself with English, the faster you will improve. Final thoughts on overcoming these challenges. So, we've talked about two major challenges: fear of making mistakes and lack of an English-speaking environment. If these challenges sound familiar to you, don't worry. Now that you know what's stopping you, you can take action to overcome them. Remember, mistakes are not bad. They are part of learning. Speak even if you're not perfect. Confidence comes from practice. The more you speak, the more natural it will feel. You can create your own English environment. Use technology, talk to yourself, and engage with English every day. If you focus on these solutions, you will see big improvements in your English speaking skills. In the next section, we will talk about the right mindset for speaking English fluently and confidently. Now that we've talked about the common challenges of speaking English, it's time to discuss something very important: the right mindset for improving your speaking skills. You see, learning a language isn't just about grammar rules, vocabulary, and pronunciation. It's also about how you think about the language and how you feel when you speak it. A strong mindset can make learning English fun, exciting, and successful. A weak mindset, on the other hand, can make you feel frustrated, shy, and unmotivated. That's why in this section, I'm going to help you build the best mindset for learning to speak English fluently and confidently. Let's start with one of the most powerful mindset shifts: thinking in English. 1. The importance of thinking in English. One of the biggest reasons learners struggle with speaking is that they think in their native language first and then try to translate their thoughts into English. This takes time and makes speaking slow and difficult. Have you ever been in a conversation where you wanted to say something in English, but by the time you translated the words in your head, the conversation had already moved on? That's because your brain is doing extra work. First processing in your native language, then translating, then speaking. The solution? Start thinking in English. Now you might be wondering, Jasmine, how do I do that? Don't worry, I have some simple techniques for you. Label things around you in English. As you go about your day, try to think of the names of things in English. For example, if you're in your kitchen, say to yourself, I need a spoon, instead of thinking of the word in your native language first. Narrate your day in English. While doing daily activities, try describing them in English in your head. For example, if you're getting ready in the morning, you could think, I am brushing my teeth. Now I'm making coffee. This helps train your brain to form sentences in English naturally. Have an inner conversation in English. If you're walking alone or sitting quietly, imagine having a conversation in English with yourself. Ask yourself questions and answer them. Use simple words first. Don't worry about using advanced vocabulary. Even if you can only think of basic words, that's okay. The goal is to train your brain to function in English without relying on translation. At first, this might feel difficult, but with practice, your brain will start thinking in English automatically. And when that happens, speaking English will become much easier and faster. 2. Overcoming the fear of speaking. Another big mindset challenge is fear. Many learners are afraid to speak because they worry about making mistakes or being judged. This fear can be so strong that it stops people from speaking at all. I want to share a little secret with you. Every fluent English speaker, including native speakers, has made mistakes. Nobody speaks perfectly all the time. Even native speakers sometimes forget words or make grammar errors. The difference is that they don't let mistakes stop them from speaking. So, how can you overcome this fear? Remember that mistakes are normal. Mistakes are proof that you are learning. Instead of feeling embarrassed, see them as opportunities to improve. Don't aim for perfection. Aim for communication. Your goal is not to speak perfect English. Your goal is to communicate your ideas. Even if your grammar isn't perfect, as long as people understand you, you are succeeding. Practice speaking in low-pressure situations. Start by speaking to yourself. Then try talking to a friend or recording yourself. The more you practice, the more confident you will become. Reframe fear as excitement. Instead of thinking, I'm nervous to speak, try thinking, I'm excited to practice. Changing how you talk to yourself can change how you feel. Challenge yourself step by step. Set small speaking goals. For example, today, try saying a few sentences in English out loud. Tomorrow, try speaking for 1 minute. Step by step, you will get better. Fear is just a feeling, and feelings can change. The more you speak, the less afraid you will be. 3. Developing a positive attitude towards mistakes. Now, let's talk about mistakes. Many learners believe that making mistakes is something bad, but in reality, mistakes are one of the best ways to learn. Think about a baby learning to walk. When they fall, do they say, "Oh no, I made a mistake, I should stop trying"? No. They get up and try again. Learning English is the same. Mistakes are not failures, they are part of the process. Here are some ways to develop a positive attitude towards mistakes. Celebrate your mistakes. Every time you make a mistake, think, great, I just learned something new. Learn from corrections. If someone corrects you, don't feel embarrassed. Instead, see it as free learning. Focus on progress, not perfection. Instead of thinking, I made 5 mistakes today, think, I spoke more than yesterday. Surround yourself with positive influences. Avoid negative people who make you feel bad for making mistakes. Instead, find supportive friends, teachers, or online communities that encourage learning. Remember, fluency is not about knowing all the rules. It's about using the language. If you keep going, you will improve. So, in this section, we talked about 3 important mindset shifts. Thinking in English. Train your brain to process English directly without translation. Overcoming fear. Speak even if you're nervous. Mistakes are part of learning. Developing a positive attitude toward mistakes. Mistakes help you improve, so embrace them. If you change the way you think about learning English, speaking will become easier and more natural. And remember, confidence doesn't come before speaking. It comes from speaking. Now that we've talked about the right mindset for speaking English, it's time to get practical. In this section, I'm going to share powerful daily techniques that will help you speak English more naturally, fluently, and confidently. Many learners ask me, how can I practice speaking English if I don't have a speaking partner? Well, guess what? You don't need a partner to improve your speaking. There are many things you can do by yourself every single day to train your speaking skills. And today, I'm going to give you 5 effective techniques that will help you see real progress. Let's start with one of the best techniques used by language learners around the world, the shadowing technique. 1. Shadowing technique. Imitating native speakers. Have you ever noticed how babies learn to speak? They listen to the people around them and imitate the sounds they hear. This is exactly what the shadowing technique helps you do. It's like copying native speakers to improve your pronunciation, fluency, and rhythm. How does it work? Choose an English audio clip. It can be a short speech, a podcast, a movie scene, or even a YouTube video. Try to pick something with clear pronunciation and natural speech. Listen to the audio and repeat immediately. As soon as you hear the speaker say a sentence, try to repeat it at the same speed and with the same intonation. It's okay if you don't understand every word. Just focus on mimicking the sound and rhythm. Practice multiple times. Play the same audio clip over and over again, shadowing the speaker each time. The more you practice, the more natural your speech will become. Why is this technique so powerful? It helps you speak faster and more fluently by training your brain to process English naturally. It improves your pronunciation and intonation because you are copying a native speaker's voice. It builds muscle memory, making it easier for you to produce English sounds. If you do this for just 10 minutes a day, you will notice a huge improvement in how smoothly you speak English. 2. Talking to yourself in English now. I know what you might be thinking. Jasmine, talking to myself. Won't that look strange? But trust me, this is one of the best ways to practice speaking when you don't have a conversation partner. When you talk to yourself in English, you force your brain to think in English, which helps you become more fluent and confident. How can you do it? Describe what you're doing. If you're cooking, say out loud, "Now I'm cutting the vegetables. I need some salt. The water is boiling." Have imaginary conversations. Pretend you are talking to a friend or ordering food in a restaurant. Talk about your day. Before going to bed, summarize your day in English. Today I went to work. I had a meeting. I ate lunch with my friend. The best part, you don't need anyone else to practice. You can do this anytime, anywhere, when you're walking, cleaning, or even in the shower. The more you do it, the more comfortable you'll feel speaking English in real situations. 3. Recording yourself and listening for improvement. Another powerful technique is recording yourself while speaking English. I know this can feel uncomfortable at first, but it is one of the best ways to identify your weaknesses and track your progress. How can you do this? Choose a topic, talk about your day, describe your favorite movie, or read a short passage aloud. Record yourself on your phone. Speak naturally without stopping too much. Listen to your recording. Pay attention to your pronunciation, fluency, and any mistakes. Compare with native speakers. If possible, listen to a native speaker saying the same words and see where you can improve. Repeat and improve. Record yourself again and try to correct the mistakes you noticed. Why is this technique helpful? It helps you become aware of your pronunciation and fluency issues. It allows you to track your improvement over time. You'll notice that after a few weeks, you sound much better. It builds confidence. Once you get used to hearing your own voice, you'll feel more comfortable speaking in front of others. Try to record yourself once a week and compare your progress. It's a great way to stay motivated. 4. Using simple English to express thoughts. Many learners think they need big, complex words to speak good English, but this is not true. The best way to speak fluently is to use simple words and short sentences. For example, instead of saying, "I am experiencing extreme exhaustion," say, "I am very tired." Instead of saying, "I will endeavour to complete the task," say, "I will try to finish it." Why should you use simple English? It makes speaking easier and faster. You don't need to search for complicated words. It helps you communicate more clearly. People understand you better. It boosts your confidence. When you speak simply, you feel more comfortable. So, next time you speak English, focus on being clear, not complicated. Simple English is good English. 5. Speaking slowly and clearly to build confidence. A common mistake learners make is trying to speak too fast because they think it sounds more fluent. But in reality, speaking too fast can make you feel more nervous and lead to more mistakes. Instead, focus on speaking slowly and clearly. Why is this important? It gives you more time to think about your words. It makes your pronunciation clearer. It helps you feel more confident. If you watch public speakers or news reporters, you'll notice that they don't rush. They speak slowly and with confidence. You should do the same. A great way to practice this is to read aloud slowly. Pick a book, an article, or even a podcast script like this one and read it at a comfortable speed. This helps train your mouth to pronounce words clearly and naturally.